Partners deserve better pay, better hours, better benefits, and better treatment in the workplace, and our union is fighting to make this company truly live up to its values, especially after their hypocritical treatment of LGBTQIA+ workers.
Let's talk about the latest in Starbucks news. Starbucks is, like I said, one of those stores, and then I see that we got a caller, so after we hit this, we will bring the caller on the line. So sit tight if you are able to. But so Starbucks, this is another one of those labor stories that has really kind of captured people's imagination. I think probably because similar to the UPS workers, Starbucks workers, we see these people every day, or, you know, we see these people a lot. I don't go to Starbucks every day, but I go to Starbucks sometimes. And so you're familiar with these people. So maybe that's one of the reasons that it's kind of penetrated the consciousness of folks. But on July the 5th, the union put out a statement saying that at this point, over 3,500 Starbucks workers at 150 stores, more than 150 stores across the United States, across 9 days nationwide, led the biggest strike in Starbucks history. Partners deserve better pay, better hours, better benefits, and better treatment in the workplace, and our union is fighting to make this company truly live up to its values, especially after their hypocritical treatment of LGBTQIA+ workers. Thank you to everyone for your support and love while we stand up to demand Starbucks bargain with us in good faith. Head over to sbworkersunited.org to organize your store and learn more about what we're demanding and why we went on strike. Also, there are 2 stores that are organized across the state of Alabama. And of course, if you are a Starbucks barista listening to us here in Alabama or anywhere across the country, you're of course free to reach out to us. And if you're in Alabama, we can put you in touch directly with some of the other baristas and the local organizer with Starbucks Workers United. We are absolutely happy to do that, but of course you can go to sbworkersunited.org if you if you're more comfortable with that. But if you're familiar with us and it would make you more comfortable, you can obviously reach out to us. Another big update on the Starbucks front is, you'll remember that we talked about Starbucks closing 3 stores in Ithaca after all 3 had voted to unionize. I think that Ithaca was the first city in the country to have every single Starbucks location to be unionized, and they closed every single location in Ithaca. And amazingly, Starbucks has said that this is just a coincidence. It is not. It's not because these workers unionized and practiced their constitutional rights to speech and association, but this was just it was just because of issues with the stores that had absolutely nothing to do with worker organization, nothing to absolutely in no part to dissuade other workers from unionizing or anything like that. That's what Starbucks is saying. But of course, that's so silly. I can't, if anybody believes that, that's wild. I've got oceanfront property in Tennessee to sell you. And so that intuition that you have, if you're not like a baby, that Starbucks did not just randomly close these unionized stores, that intuition that you have has been verified by a U.S. National Labor Relations Board judge, Arthur Amchan. He wrote in his ruling last week that the shutdown of a store near Cornell University's campus, quote, was done in large part to discourage unionization efforts in Ithaca and elsewhere, end quote. He also said that Starbucks failed to prove that it would close the store absent its animus towards the pro-union employees who worked there. In his ruling, Amchan wrote that Starbucks repeatedly violated the National Labor Relations Act in Ithaca, including by punishing union supporters and, quote, suggesting to an employee that it would continue to violate the act regardless of what the NLRB decided, end quote. Along with the reopening of the College Avenue location and reinstating terminated employees with back pay, he wrote that the company should be forced to post a notice about workers' rights at its cafes throughout the country. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Starbucks is still disputing this, and they will almost certainly appeal this to a U.S. district judge, which is going to take another 6 months, another year or something. I mean, we are now probably almost a year since this location closed. I mean, this has been going on for a very long time, and this is, it's indicative of how toothless and how slow the process is for unionization, and that's why it's so important. That's indicative of how little teeth and how slow the process is for enforcing your rights through the law, through the government, through the NLRB. And that emphasizes the importance of unionization, of building power in the workplace so that you don't actually have to rely on the law. Because if we saw a critical mass of Starbucks stores unionize, where they have a significant impact on the company's bottom line internationally and nationally, then they're not going to need the NLRB. They're not going to need the NLRB. They can just negotiate in a contract that, okay, we're going to reopen these stores. We're going to give these people their jobs back with this amount of back pay, and then they can drop all the charges and everybody can go forward. That's what happens in contract negotiations all the time, in fact. There are disputes between employees and employers in union workplaces across the country all the time that because the legal process takes so long, you can just go to the next contract bargaining session and resolve it there. Say, okay, we're going to do this. And so that's what workers would have the power to do without asking for permission from the government if more Starbucks workplaces organize. And so that's why it's important to organize, because the more people that do, the more power that you're going to have. Some background that was in Josh Idelson's piece in Bloomberg, which, interestingly, Josh Idelson is a very good labor reporter for Bloomberg magazine, magazine or the website. Very good labor reporter. I've got a lot of respect for him. So he said that regional NLRB directors around the country have issued over 90 complaints accusing Starbucks of illegal anti-union tactics, including refusing to negotiate fairly, while judges and NLRB members have ordered reinstatement of 23 terminated activists. Complaints are considered by NLRB judges, whose ruling can be appealed to labor board members in Washington, D.C., and from there into federal court. The agency has the power to order policy changes and back pay, but not to make companies pay punitive damages or hold executives personally liable for wrongdoing. So, obviously going to keep an eye on that, but it's, similar to the NLRB ruling related to Warrior Met last week that we talked about. It's great to see it. But there's still not going to be any action on this for a long time to come. And that's why it's important that workers take matters into their own hands.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.